as I mentioned, today we have the pleasure of hearing from Corinne Janzen. So Corinne is a home staging expert with Fraser Valley Essential Staging, where she is a certified staging professional. She helps real estate sellers prepare their most valuable asset for maximum value by playing an integral role in creating photos that stand out from the competition. Corinne provides high value through her expertise, integrity, timeliness, and professionalism, ensuring that her clients sell their homes for top dollar in the shortest amount of time possible. She loves to work with realtors, whether they have or haven't tried staging before, and anyone who is thinking of selling their home. In her spare time, Corinne puts family first, especially her grandkids, but she also loves hiking and snowshoeing, kayaking, and e-biking. I was very pleased when I was reading up more on her bio to see that, like myself, she follows the 4 agreements, which are based on some ancient Toltec wisdom, if any of you are familiar. And those are: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. I preach those values because I think they're important, and I was thrilled to see that Corinne valued them as well. But enough from me. Let's hear from Corinne herself about her and her business.
Wow, that is a hard act to follow. I hope I live up to all of that. So I'm going to just share my screen, and hopefully I don't mess this up, because this is the part that everybody has a problem with. So I'm just going to get going right here. All right, can everybody see my purple screen?
Looks great.
Are we good? Okay, great. So I forgot to practice the transitions, but whatever. Okay, I'm just going to get started. So thank you guys so much for being here this morning, and especially to our visitors for getting up early and coming out to hear what we're all about. So welcome to my second presentation. So this one is going to be on the 3-step process that we have to staging your home. But I thought we would first recap a little bit about what I covered last time, just for those who missed it. So the first thing we talked about is, what is staging? Staging is a marketing tool that helps prepare a property for sale by creating an emotional connection that will generate more offers, a higher selling price, and shorter days on market. We talked about the myths and misconceptions. Myth number 1 being that staging is the same thing as decorating. Myth number 2, is that staging is the same thing as decluttering. And myth number 3 is that staging isn't even necessary. So we talked about all those. The next one we talked about was the difference between vacant and occupied staging. A vacant listing is completely empty and it highlights the flaws instead of the features, whereas an occupied listing is when the homeowner is still living in the space. And the thing that everyone wants to know is, how much does it cost? And does anyone remember what my answer to that question was? And I won't make you, I just want you to think, but the actual answer was, staging costs less than your first price reduction. So just keep that in mind. So today we are going to talk a little bit about, how does it work? Because that is literally the next question that people ask right after how much does it cost, is how does it work? So I thought, why not talk about that? And what is our 3-step process to staging your home? So the first step is our pre-listing consultation. And during a pre-listing consultation, we walk through each room in the home, and we note all of the deficiencies and the problem areas that need to be addressed by the homeowner, as well as areas for improvement that staging can help with. We create a personalized list report for the homeowner to follow, with recommendations for improvements that will help secure the most equity possible and faster than if things are left as is. Because research shows that staged listings generally sell faster than those that aren't, and they sell for more money. Because if a buyer finds one problem in one area, they are going to look for more problems. And every time they do, they are going to ding your asking price and lower what they are willing to offer. So the goal of the consultation is to pay attention to all of these small details that could detract from a higher selling price. And we always remind clients that this step is not staging, but it details the work that has to be done so that we can stage. And we call this a pre-listing consultation because ideally we're doing this before the listing goes live and those MLS photos are taken so that we have a better looking listing right out of the gate and not a stale one a couple months later that hasn't sold. So what is step number 2, you ask? Well, now it is time to do the work. And at this stage, this is where the checklist items get done. The homeowner can DIY because we have a solid referral network on our team, which is where all of you guys come in. We work with the homeowner to arrange for any jobs that need to be done, such as electrical upgrades, carpet cleaning, replacing flooring, painting, cleaning, decluttering, packing, landscaping, pressure washing, inspection, all of these kinds of things. And this stage can take a couple days. It can take a couple weeks. It really depends on how big is the list, how motivated the seller is, but on average, this is about a week. So the goal of this step is to ensure that all of the problem areas are dealt with so we don't give potential buyers any reason not to make a solid offer. And step 3, this is staging day. So this is when the magic happens, and we put and we stage the home. So we put the finishing touches on all of the hard work and the preparation in making the home picture perfect and market ready. Now, with an occupied listing, this may require simple items like throws and cushions and art and decor items from our inventory. And with a vacant listing, it's going to mean that we bring in everything and we ensure that especially the most important rooms stand out and show the function and the flow of all of the rooms. And this typically includes living room, dining room, kitchen eating area, the principal suite, which we used to call the master suite. And all of these rooms have the biggest impact. So we make sure that we do these rooms, and we also often do a home office because so many people are working from home, at least partly these days. So in a nutshell, that is our 3-step process. But what is the next step after that? It's easy. You just call me. So if you're an agent, you call me as soon as you have a listing so we can plan a coordinated approach as part of your marketing team of experts to get your clients home ready as quickly as possible. Homeowners, we find, usually have a lot of questions and they're often at a loss as to where to start this process. So they really appreciate all the guidance that they can get. And we do get calls all the time from prospective sellers, and they are looking. The first thing that we do is we build rapport with them and we build trust. We talk about their needs and their time frame and all these things, and we walk them through what our steps are. But we also find out if they're already working with an agent or not, and that's where we can help hook you up with a new client as well. So our main goal with this is to make sure you look good for recommending your staging professional to help your client, just as much as we're there to make their home look good and sell for a top dollar. Now, if you're a homeowner looking to sell, let's get your pre-listing consultation done right away so we can get you started tackling your pre-listing checklist. So that's about it. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that you learned something that you didn't know about staging before. And there's my positive quote of the day, because I like to start off with something positive. And I think I've got lots of time to answer any questions that you might have. And now I have to figure out how to unshare my screen.
Corinne, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I have a question percentage-wise of when you stage compared to when you don't stage. I know there's stats in the States there, but what is your opinion as far as like a percentage of how much more you'll sell for?
Yeah, so typically from the surveys that I've read, it's between 1% to 5%. So I think that there's a lot of variables at play. So it depends, are we looking at vacant, occupied? How much did we need to do? What was their budget? But typically we're looking at 1% to 5% of the over, like that's what their return on their investment would be. Oh, I unshared. Look at that. That's a great question, by the way. A lot of people ask that.
And Corinne, how do you work with a realtor in terms of, do you fold part of your cost into something with the realtor, or do they just sort of hand you off and recommend you to the client?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of what we prefer. If the agent can just provide us with the sort of like the Coles notes of what's going on with the client. Like we walked into situations where we weren't really set up very well, and we found out, oh, it's a divorce, and that's why they're selling. So any little background, kind of like, oh, they're moving. Just recently, we had one where the family was moving because the daughters had scholarships and they were moving to Florida. So, oh, great. Okay, they're moving out of the country. It gives us a talking point as well to help build that rapport. So any kind of little tidbits that you that the agent would know about their client that they can provide to us. And then really it's just a matter of what's their name, contact information, best time to call. And then we just sort of take it from there. It works the best because then the agent can sort of just step back. They don't have to be like the middleman. Middle woman, middle person. And we can arrange for going to see the home and getting the staging done and all the things in between. And we become part of their team. We are part of their marketing team at that point. It's like the agent's going to have, a photographer that they work with. They're going to have a home inspector that they work with. And here's my stager. You need to listen to the staging advice. They're going to help you get your home ready for the photographer so we can have really great listing photos. So it's kind of a matter of just putting their trust in us to work with their client, and then they can step back and go sign up their next listing. So that's what works best. Oh, and you asked about paying and stuff. I have some strategies as far as who pays for it. And that's something that I'm I'm kind of passionate about, that subject. So yeah, I can maybe talk about that one on our next one, but it's really about who benefits from it and what makes the most sense for and why I sort of feel one way about who should be paying for it and who shouldn't.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, great job, Corinne.
Thanks.
The presentation.
Mhm.
Appreciate you putting that together for everybody here.